Hello, everyone. My name is Sara Mayer, and I'm super excited to be talking with you today all about the leadership journey. So, are you ready to jump in the car and go on a road trip? Because if so, I have the passenger manual for how to make the most out of your road trip with another leader leading and driving on the road. So let's jump in. Many times you are going to be tapped by another leader to go on a journey with them, a road trip for the ages to a place where you may not even know where you're going when you're recruited. Great leaders love to reach back and tap other people to join them on the journey. And great leaders also like to reach forward and bring people along for the ride. So if you are asked as to be a passenger in a leader's road trip, know that that is a tremendous honor and one that you can cherish forever. But it's not always easy to be a passenger, especially when you're used to driving. I don't know about you, but I don't like the backseat drivers. Yeah, and we also don't like the backseat passengers that kick the seat or are constantly trying to change direction, or maybe they want to stop 5 minutes after you just stopped the car. I know when I was growing up, my dad used to always say, be quiet, or I'm going to pull this car over. And we always wondered what would happen if that car was actually pulled over. Many of you have been on a journey. So let's talk about the journey and the road trip in leadership and how to be the best passenger when a leader does invite you on a journey to a destination of achieving a goal. One of the biggest things to remember is great leaders influence and support others to achieve a common goal. And their real responsibility is to chart the course to where the team will be going. They might not have all the answers, but as the leader, they are responsible for ensuring that there is a plan and that you do get to the final destination. They also are responsible for recruiting their fellow passengers in the journey to join them in the car or bus or vehicle to ensure that they have the right people in the right seats. And that's often the first task that when a leader is asked to do something or chair something or become a part of a committee and lead a certain component, often the first things they will do is think about who do they need on that trip. And that may be you. Great leaders, as I mentioned, reach ahead and grab people who are really skilled at certain things, and they reach behind and pull people up to give them experiences. So know that if you are recruited, there is a reason that you are on that team and on that road trip. And finally, great leaders show the way. They may do things, they may not do things, but they're always there to show the way, to ensure that the team gets to the final destination. And once they're ready to hit the road, all leaders have different driving styles. I know you've been in a car with somebody who pumps the brakes, or somebody who maybe hugs the right side, or maybe they are very cautious and stop at the stop sign and actually count to 6. Every driver, every leader is different. And before you get in the car and join a leader on a road trip, you want to stop and think about the fact that they may lead differently than you do. They may drive that car a little bit differently. they most likely are going to communicate in a different way than you may communicate, or they may in a similar way. They also may inspire people differently. They may give lengthy speeches or send short notes or do private praise. Whatever, they may be doing it differently. They also likely delegate in a different style. And all of this is okay. When you jump on board with a new driver, take a moment and look at the differences in how they drive, how they lead, how they communicate, inspire, and delegate to get everyone to that final destination. Many times it will be different than how you lead, but it's in these differences that we truly are able to come alive as a team. And every team, everybody on the bus or car or whatever you're driving may have a different role, but everyone is there for a reason. And as they jump onto this road trip, that group dynamic will be different every single time, even if the destination is the same. You know, you've been on a road trip with other people, I'm sure, in your life, where one time it's the singing crew, the next time it's the silent riders. Every road trip is different, and leaders truly have a tremendous responsibility to put together the best team of people to achieve that goal and reach that final destination. Now, I know you're probably thinking about a road trip that you have been on, or maybe one that you're planning, i.e., a leadership activity that you're taking on. So as a leader, really think about who is going to be in the car with you before you recruit those team members. Okay, now let's talk about the passenger road rules. As you know, many, many times, the driver has a plan, but it's really the passengers that have what I would say is the most difficult role, especially if you're a passenger that has driven the bus or car before. You know, many times newer leaders are underage and haven't had the opportunity to drive. So they may not have the full experience of driving or what should happen or not happen on that project, but they have been in a car before, so they do know a thing or two. So if you are selected to be a passenger on a leader's journey, there are a couple ways that you can be a good passenger. And I do think that this is one of the most difficult roles. So the first thing is to know your role. Yep, know your role. Know exactly why you were on that team. Know what your expectations are for that role. Are you the backup driver? Are you the leader who has experience that is going to mentor the driver and help them to be successful in their leadership role? Are you there to play the tunes? Are you there to read the map? Well, I guess now it would be on the phone. But what is your role? And it's really important that before you set out on that journey and that road trip to reach your destination, that you have a clear understanding of what your roles and responsibilities are. Because there's nothing worse than somebody who is not the backup driver asking every 5 minutes, can I drive? Or the person not responsible for the map saying, we should go this way. We should go this way. Or the person who's not the timekeeper saying, are we there yet? About 100 times. So know your role. Why are you on the team? What is your job on the team, and how can you best do that? The second one is understanding your expectations. Oftentimes, people will ask us to join their journey. They want us to be on their road trip to achieving their goal. And when you are asked as a passenger on this journey, it's a great time to say, why do you want me to take this journey with you? Why am I here? And again, back to what role will I be filling? Because many times the leader may have an idea in mind. It could be they want you to be the backup driver in case things go awry or the driver falls asleep and veers out of the lane. They want you to take charge if needed. Or it could be they want you to bring the fun, or they want you to recruit other people. Or maybe they have very specific duties they want you to accomplish, and you, without asking, would not know that. And you might veer out of your seat or your lane because you think you're there for one reason when actually the leader wanted you on that road trip for another reason. So it's really important when you are tapped for a leadership opportunity to understand your expectations and know very specifically what your role is. As I mentioned many times, the first thing that a leader is going to do is recruit their road trip participants, their team. And this is not always the easiest task. And great leaders, like I mentioned, reach ahead and reach behind to pull other people up and to seek the wisdom of leaders who have gone before them. And one of your roles as a passenger is to ask the leader, do you want me to recruit other people to bring along in the journey that I think can fill some of the roles and expectations and seats that you are looking to fill? And if the answer is yes, please recruit other people and bring them on board on the journey to achieve the goal for the team, because that is one of the best ways that you can light the torch and keep the journey going for other leaders. It's all about developing and inspiring others. Finally, your leader has a very difficult task. Not only are they driving, they have all these other people around them in the back seat, in the way back seat, trying to influence the trip. And as a passenger, remember your personal role and responsibility. And one of those roles and responsibilities is to follow the leader and to get to the final destination. So it's really important to stay seated instead of, flying behind and sticking your hands up or change seats or do other roles. It is so important to the success of not only the team, but the road trip. And many times, unintentionally, people end up taking back roads or detours that don't work out because the passengers simply are not staying in their seats. They're all trying to be the leader. When there's one person who has the map, there's 6 people with 6 different opinions on where to go. And it is really important as a team to work together. But when you are trying to be a great passenger, you want to stay in your seat. All right. So now that you know the rules of the road, please remember that this is supposed to be fun. When you take on a new leadership task or journey and you set out on a road trip with other leaders, make sure that you have somebody to turn up the music or who's in charge of the fun, because the ultimate goal for any road trip is to arrive safely at the destination. And you're not going to be safe if you're kicking the leader's seat and they constantly have to pull over and leave passengers on the side of the road. And part of getting to the final destination is not only accomplishing the goal, celebrating the goal, but bringing everybody along the way. And how you do that is by celebrating your leader, being a great passenger, and staying in your seat while they are able to stay in their lane. Leaders have a very difficult task, and many times people who have led other projects end up causing leaders to get off the road or go on to these dirt roads with lots of bumps unintentionally. So as a passenger, when you are invited to a road trip, remember, be a great passenger, because when you are a great passenger, your leader can be a great leader, and you can get to that destination safely and quickly and celebrate the success of your team. All right, everyone. Thank you so much for listening to my talk about how to be a great leader on a road trip. I hope that the next time you are selected to be a leader and be a passenger, that you really think about the road trip and how you want that trip to go from start to finish. Before you onboard passengers or before you agree to be a passenger, know your roles, know your expectations, and really think about that journey. Have a great rest of your conference, everyone. Thank you so much. If you'd like to connect with me, again, my name is Sara Mayer, and you can find me on my website at saramayer.com. I would love to talk more about the leadership journeys that you all are taking as leaders, drivers, and passengers.